So you already see the caption. I'm gonna just let this play. Let's just let this play. This is funny to me. This is hilarious to me.
I'm not dating a man that does not come from a two-parent household. I don't care what race you are.
You came from a two-parent household?
No, but I'm gonna explain to you why. There's a big difference with the man who was raised with his mother and father versus a man who was just raised with his mother. And I had the pleasure of marrying a guy who was raised by his mom, and I dated seriously a guy who was raised by both parents. It's a big difference. And coming from a household where I was raised by my mom, as a grown woman, I'm telling you, it's a difference.
I do agree that there is a difference, but I can't necessarily say that I'm only going to deal with men who came from a two-parent household, because I didn't come from a two-parent household. So I can't put judgment on another person and say that's what you have to have. But have you worked, and do you acknowledge that because you didn't have that you do have some deficiencies?
Yeah,
I know as a woman I have some deficiencies, and it took me a while to know.
I'm not dating a man that does not.
Shout out to the last woman there for being a little bit fair there. Let's go to the next clip.
And it took me a while to know that. Mm-hmm. But I realized that I do have some deficiencies. And of course, like he stated, it's a constant work in progress.
Right.
I have to check myself when dating a man and he says a certain thing. He's like, I don't like that you did that. I have to then check myself and say, you know what? I'm sorry.
So shout out to the last sister there. But you know, why are they're missing something? It's almost like they can't say the word father. Did you notice that? Did you know? Hold on, let me just replay this real quick. Let me replay this. Maybe I missed it. It's like they didn't even mention the word father, or just say I just didn't grow up with no man in the house. Let me replay that real quick.
I come from a two-parent household. I don't care what race you are.
You came from a two-parent household?
No, but I'm gonna explain to you why. There's a big difference with the man who was raised with his mother and father versus a man who was just raised with his mother. And
Oh, okay. So I missed it. Okay. She did say man and a man that was raised with a man, a father and a mother, and then a mother.
I had the pleasure of marrying a guy who was raised by his mom, and I dated seriously a guy who was raised by both parents.
So that's probably the part that triggered me. I was like, by both parents, you mean father and mother? I'm like, you should have said that.
A big difference.
That's just me being petty.
And coming from a household where I was raised by my mom, as a grown woman, I'm telling you, it's a difference.
I do agree that there.
But okay, so this is where I'm gonna stop this right here, because I'm getting tired of this conversation. And I'm gonna tell you what, people might be shocked with my take on this, because I've been getting into way too many arguments with the normies with this. There are too many posts on social media where they're starting to diss the young men on how they are because they were only raised by a mom, or they were raised by a single mom, and complaining about these men that are raised by primarily a female influence. And then it's fine if you have that opinion, but then I'm always going to check people's consistency, because people are just not congruent. And this is not just a man or woman thing. I be checking people's consistency, and it's clear that they can't really stand on what they say. So when I hear a woman complaining about the men raised by single moms, or men that have their moms in where their moms and their sisters are heavily influenced in their life, and they'll make memes about it, right? And they'll talk about them being gay and whatnot. And I'll be like, okay, since you're saying all of this, right? Are you willing to finally say that single moms make the worst parents? And every time I ask that, it comes with a barrage of excuses after excuses after, oh, my mom was a single mom, but she was no. If you're gonna start going out your way to start dissing these men that you created, that you advocated for, because in these same situations, the mom, right, was probably the same person that pushed the father away in some shape or form. Women that chose to be single mothers, and now you're mad at the results of 2 generations, or how about 2 or 3 generations now, where we're seeing the products of single mothers, and you guys don't like the results, and now you want to start dissing those same men, even though you created the same environment. No, we're not going to have that. We're not going to do that. If you're going to go out your way to start talking about these men that are quote unquote sassy, right, or these men that are, oh, there's a difference between a man that's raised with a father and a mother, and a man that was raised with just a mother. No, we're not going to start dissing these men unless if you're willing to go out in the front line and be like, look, it's not only is it not only is it bad to date a man that's only raised by a mother, I am willing to stand on the fact and say single moms make the worst parents, and mothers in general are not good parents. You have to be willing to say that on top of what you're saying, because if you're now, when I ask every woman that I asked this, I'm talking about I haven't met one woman that agreed with me with this. They probably have liked my comment, maybe, but they haven't like every woman that I've questioned about that position about, oh, men with the women in their lives, they're red flags. I done seen videos like, oh man, it's a red flag if a man really likes his mom. You're just like, what? Or if they have females in their life, you're just like, huh, okay. Now, anytime I ask a follow-up question to the women, anytime I ask, okay, are you willing to say that, with that being said, are you willing to and I'll be like, okay, so that means you'd rather date a person that was raised with a father and a mother? And then they'll kind of waffle on that, but sometimes I'll get a yes, and sometimes I get a yes, or they get a waffle answer because they already know where I'm heading. Then I always follow up with, okay, so now with all of that being said, are you willing to say that single mothers clearly make the worst parents? And any court that are the courts that are giving the child to the mom instead of the dad, which is like 89% of the time, they are committing child abuse. They never want to. Oh, then this is when the excuses after excuses after the excuses come, and I'm like, okay, this. So the reason I now I'm starting to this is where I came to my own conclusion on this, because it's not necessarily just the results of the single mammy raised sons. The real reason they don't like men that were just raised by a mom, right? Or they have a heavily female influenced background is because the same manipulation that they'll be able to run on the average dude probably can't work when there's other women in his life that are already taking resources from him. So whatever manipulation or whatever tricks you try to do, they're going to catch. The women in his life that have a vested interest in him are going to catch on. Because then I remember people like, oh no, I know a guy that was raised by a father and mother, and the mom was still this in my life. I'm like, were you on that BS? I'm like, are you sure you weren't on that BS? Or was it the fact that you try to pull certain things on him and the mom caught on? And your manipulation tactics and the whatever underhanded tactics that women do to their man, whatever, or vice versa, whatever you try to run on him, it didn't. The mother was able to catch on, or the sister was able to catch on, because they have a vested interest in that man. Maybe this is where I'm starting to lean towards. It's not even about raising kids or all that stuff or being treated. I think is because it's the same tactics, because they were raised around women. They know all the little BS stuff that women just do in general. So whether they end up hating their mom for it or loving their mom for it, they know all those tactics. Right? This is why they get mad when they got these dudes doing these podcasts with all these girls on there. And these dudes can read these girls like a book, because they've been heavily raised around a lot of women. So they know, a lot of these guys, they know all the secrets. You got dudes now, they've been raised. they go to salons with these girls because they'll have braids, whatever, they have long hair. So they'll go to the salons as well. They know all the tactics. They know all the nonsense. And then once they put it out there that they know, now it's a problem. No, I can only date men raised in a 2-parent household. Really? Now they care about the nuclear family. Now they conservatives now. Now these 304s are conservatives now. I don't buy it. Now they care about a man being in the child's life. Now they do? Nah. They're looking at the results and they're just like, damn. We actually had it good when it was the other way around. They just didn't realize it. Because the thing is, when it's male centered, when a man is successful, everybody eats. So they took that part for granted. Now, when you got these men now, they're like, maybe I don't need a family. Maybe I could just go my own way. Maybe I don't have to do all of this. And now they're asking for 50-50. Now they're men are asking for flowers. Now men are asking for treatment. They're basically, so then I even put it in so I'll be like, so they're basically acting like a woman, correct? And then this is where they start waffling. They're like, what are you trying to say? Yeah, they're acting like you guys. So you see, so don't you don't you get it? Don't you get it? They're holding up a mirror to you. is literally them holding up a mirror to you, and you don't like it. They don't even realize. This is why now when I hear women talking about, oh, I can't date a man that didn't grow up in a 2-parent house. I'm like, now y'all care about this? Now, nah, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Hoes are not conservatives. Nah. Like now that I would say that's not gonna fly with me no more. Y'all hoes are gonna have to stand on what you created. Either go on the record and say moms are the worst parents, single moms are also the worst parents, and really start calling out the hoes that try to alienate the kids from their fathers and call them out for child abuse. If you're not willing to do none of that, I don't want to hear shit about this at all. And I'm dead ass serious. I'm talking about there's no joke. Like, I'm not even joking with this. I am dead ass serious. I'm dead ass serious with this.